So on the Mars rover, they actually have like they're collecting actual samples, and then it's just going to collect these samples of soil and just drop it for another rover in a couple of years to pick it up and then launch it to a satellite in space and bring it back to Earth.
They could
And on
make the
top of that,
rover
it
do
has
both
a
jobs.
No.
no, because that's too much. Because that's asking NASA for too much.
It seems like a really overcomplicated job. Like, why would anyone want to do this?
It just seems like another, excuse to spend millions and millions of dollars. It's like, this one digs, that one.
That one picks up the digging.
Yeah,
But
why?
it also has a helicopter that just comes off of it where the helicopter's only purpose is to prove that we can fly on Mars. And then it only has a 90-minute battery life and then goes back to the Perseverance. Basically, the Perseverance is like the coolest Hess truck toy that you've ever gotten for Christmas.
So shouldn't we be able to know that we can fly on Mars or not? Is this not like a
Well, they don't have the atmosphere.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with the atmosphere. Where as the propellers are going, there's not enough air to push down to give it liftoff. So it had to be like a specialty aircraft in order to give it liftoff.
I'll tell you what, thank
so,
God.
our normal helicopters don't work because the normal thrust or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank God they got someone else to do that job, because fucking I would be lost. I wouldn't be able to do that fucking job at all.
There's a reason they didn't ask you.
Shit, is that why? I think that
Were they knocking down your door?
I would like to think so. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Nerd Shit Live. I'm your host, Pat. With me, as always, is my co-host, Danny, Nick, and special this week, everyone. Give it up for Mike Burke. Yay! Yeah, he's here. He's here to talk about Rust with all of us, which will be a good time. At least I think so. I mean, it's been
Unlike Rust
can be not a great time. I mean, at least I think so.
Yeah, 40 hours in. We'll get there. We'll get there.
All right. Just to start, let's just get with the news already tonight, because we're already late. First up, Cruella came out with a new trailer. Starring Emma Stone. I didn't know this was a thing, if I'm honest. I had no idea that this was being made.
It's a surprise.
It comes out in a couple months, right? Like, I saw nothing for this.
Yeah, actually, I've been thinking about that too, is that like it's gotta be because like everyone's attention span is way shorter, right?
Oh yeah. No, they can't announce something in like May of 2020 and expect people to keep an eye out for it in May 2021.
I think you can do that with like a really, a movie people are going to give a shit about. And even then, I think you could do that in the pre-pandemic world, but we don't know where we're going to be in a few weeks. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's
like,
fair.
you can't announce, like, yeah, we're going to put it in theaters. JK, we probably shouldn't put it in theaters. It's going to be on Disney+.
Well, honestly, this doesn't have, like, the Disney Plus sticker on it. Like, it doesn't seem that it's going to Disney Plus at all. And that's kind of like, I'm pretty sure Black Widow is their watermark for that, because their plan is to put Black Widow out on May 7th. And if that goes well, then I'm positive everything's going to theaters again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I only just got my vaccination appointment for Tuesday. So, and I'm in the protected group. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Give it up. Get your vaccines, everyone.
And it's going to take an additional 3 weeks after that to get my second dose. And then I'm not considered immune until a week or two after that. So the whole process is going to take forever. So how are they going to count on being able to get bodies in seats? You know what I mean?
They literally can't, and especially like what you said, like you're in group 1B or whatever. So it's like 1C is the next group of everybody. And if they're already having such difficulty getting it out to like your group, It's like, hell, everybo's not going to be able to get it.
I love that. I love that. It's like hell. It's
hell.
Well, hell.
Literally, no one's going to. I think maybe if we get like 50% of people vaccinated who want to get vaccinated by the end of this year, I think that's even aspirational.
Listen.
Yeah.
Before we switch back to Cruella, I'm just saying right now, if I'm immune before March 31st, I will be in the theater to see Godzilla vs. Kong. All right?
You're a special case, though. That's not most of America, I don't think.
What? I'm sorry. What do you mean?
I'm saying, like, you're like, Godzilla v. Kong.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
Where most of America's like, yeah, maybe I might still wear my mask. I don't know if I'm going to go to the movies. Maybe I'll go to my local
Sit there
bar.
with a big bottle of popcorn. The one other guy in the theater. Hey man, you want some?
Hey, how about that immunity, man?
But so as I said when the trailer got dropped for Cruella, you guys think she's gonna like make the coat or like?
The end scene is gonna be her with her 100 Dalmatians.
I'm just saying, like, what's the point of this movie? You know what I mean?
Well, dude, that's what I was thinking about. Like, she seems like a super cut and dry character. Like, Cruella DeVille is, I want to skin puppies. I want to look good doing it. Like, where is the redeemability of that character?
How do you make that character sympathetic? It's pretty much the question there.
They just said, who's iconic? Who's this iconic figure that we can do a bunch of merchandising around?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only way to make her redeemable is have Emma Stone play her. That's the only thing you can really do. Also, one thing I got from the trailer, is Cruella magic or not?
No.
I don't know.
Is
Cruella
about,
magic?
Fire dress thing?
Yeah, like is she a witch that we didn't know about?
I was gonna say I think it's like, well, isn't this supposed to be set back in like
Yeah,
like the London 1970s?
Right? Yeah.
I think it's earlier than that. I think it's earlier than that.
When did the original movie take place?
I don't know.
I'll pull it up.
Great question.
She drove a Cadillac DeVille before it was cool, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you get that the whole vibe of it is like a real kind of like Gatsby, Roaring 20s, like woman ahead of her time. But I also read, I thought it was in the 70s somewhere, but
the original came out. It came out in '66. Let me find the setting.
Like it has like a very like even like the movie art for it is very like Sex Pistols like cover. It's like the black and white, like it's really cool. Like it has like that like London punk sort of
Speaking of which,
feel to it.
So I mean the whole look. I mean I think I think Disney always has a stellar look to their movies. I don't think they look cheap at all. But this one specifically, it's really the question of why, and not only why, but who asked for this. You know what I mean? Like nobody asked for this.
You know what? I think a lot of it comes from like they had a lot of success with like the Maleficent movies, and I get a lot of that kind of strong female lead vibe with it.
Did they?
They did, dude. The amount of stuff that they were able to put out in like merchandise around Maleficent.
Oh, true.
Like that was big, and I also think like 110% because of Harley Quinn, they made this movie.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Like especially like in the trailer when it's like a quick cut of a scene, it's like a shot of a building and it's got purple text and it's got Cruella all out throughout it. It's like such hardcore Joker vibes.
Absolutely,
that's true. I mean,
like, it's very like strong female anti-hero type of vibe that they're going for, that they're just playing right off of Harley Quinn.
Going back to Maleficent.
But why even bother? Like, there's so many characters. Disney's got such a wealth of characters that they could play with, and Cruella DeVille is just like so one-dimensional, like just evil, bad character. Why?
Well, that's what I think is really, really cool about it, is because like I think it's gonna play on like the duality of her a lot, because she's got, and there's so much different, or there's obviously like so much like physical and like visual elements, like her hair.
Right.
In the trailer, it shows her like crying with her makeup all run in bed, and then you've got like that Kubrick stare
just the
kind
way
of going
I
on
like
from
it.
it. Like,
Yes.
you like that mascara
really broken, like.
I'm just wondering, like, what's the origin story we're getting? Like, she was attacked by a bunch of puppies or something, like in this movie, and that's why she just wants to make a coat of them.
Dude, I don't know, and I think that's what's interesting. I think it's kind of cool, like it's because of the one dimensionality, and it's an old ass movie. Like, right, you said, Nick, it came out in the 60s.
Yeah, it was in the 60s, and the setting is 1958.
Okay, all right, yeah. So it is early.
Okay.
So like they can almost write, in as much as it is like a reboot of an old character, they can write, an original story. Like, for one.
You guys want to know what would be better if like Maleficent, for instance, and obviously this isn't out yet, so we don't know, but Maleficent and its sequel were not good. They made money based off nostalgia, but like, have you guys seen the first Maleficent?
No.
It is
I have, yeah.
dog shit. It is the Charlton Carplo, is that his name? The guy who plays the villain. He has 3 different accents the whole movie, and it changes scene to scene to scene.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. Also, there's a really heavy-handed allegory for sexual abuse, and it does not play well. Like, I remember the women I was with when I saw that movie were extremely off-put by that scene. Like, it wasn't like Promising Young Woman where it really spoke to a certain cause. It was like a, Jesus Christ, did we really need that? Like, we're in a fucking Disney movie right now.
I thought this was a children's movie.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, Disney, they own Marvel and Star Wars, so they have my money all the time, no matter what. I have Disney
Plus.
Plus.
Such a great job with Star
We'll
Wars.
get there. We'll get there. And obviously I have Disney Plus, so I'm all for it. But I'm just good with these fucking Disney remakes. I don't want another one. They fucking ruined Aladdin, and don't get me started on The Lion King. So I didn't need this. However, I'm probably still gonna watch it, and that's because I host a podcast with you jokers. So moving on, in more tech-related news, Chromebooks are gonna come pre-installed with Stadia from now on, and guess what? It was to the immediate woo of one guy who maybe likes Stadia.
Reggie Watts.
Reggie Watts really likes Stadia.
What is coming installed? Like, does it come with a controller? Like, I don't understand what's being installed on there.
So that's the thing. When I was looking into this, it's not even pre-installed. Like, it just comes with a link to Stadia. You do get 3 months of Stadia Pro free, granted, which is like, a $30 offering or whatever, but it's just like while you're installing it, how like when you install like Java and it's like, what hotbar do you want today? Like, do you want this task or do you want that? You'll get that with Stadia.
Yeah, no,
it comes with the URL.
Literally, that's what I read.
It's just so fucking stupid. I mean, listen, Google pulled a bunch of developers off of this project already because they already know Stadia is not going to last. And on top of that, Google is notorious for committing to something, seeing it doesn't work out in the first 8 months, and then jumping ship. Now, it's been a couple years that Stadia has been around. However, it's not seamless like game streaming. There are still hiccups, like issues with performance, connections always dropping. And plus, we have seen before, gamers do not like to not own their games. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think this is the target for this would not be gamers. This is for people like, imagine, like a family gets a laptop for their kid and they don't have any Xbox or a PlayStation or something. This would be a way for them to kind of get into gaming and maybe like open a door. I think it's smart. Whether or not that, it's the greatest way to go about doing it. It's going to open the door to other people who aren't gamers.
But the problem with that though is still the monetary issue, because you still have to pay, I think it's $60 to get access to Stadia. And then on top of that,
for a year or monthly?
For a year. Then
it's $10
and then
monthly.
you still have to pay the full price of whatever the game is retail, and you don't even own it. And then you just stream it from their servers. It's like having an access code.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think is a big, and I think a lot of our bias inherently comes from all of us having gaming computers and gaming PCs, and that mentality. But like to like what Nick said is, I think it's a really good way to lower the barrier of entry. Because I'm thinking it's like, look, you don't need a system that's high functioning. You pretty much need like an internet connection of like 100 megabytes per second or whatever, and then you're like decent. So it's kind of like if this was an option for like kids to get into things, but then it's like kids just kind of want to play like Minecraft and Fortnite and everything. And if you're opening up a lot of these AAA games to them, is there going to be desire to spend any more money?
Mm-hmm. And also, you look at the fact that even a lot of people still buy their games and do a digital download of it. Where sure, you own the game, that's yours, but how is this so much further removed from doing that same thing? Where it's like you don't own the game, you're streaming the game. You still paid full price for the game, right. And even if you do a digital download, you still don't own it on a cloud. But for the most part, you don't have a physical copy of it.
I think the difference there, like wherein lies, is that where it's actually stored. So I'll just give you my experience. Last of Us 2, you guys know, for whatever reason, I didn't pre-order it. And I decided, fuck it. I don't like to buy digital games too much if I don't have to. So I said, fuck it, I'll buy this one digital because I really wanted to play it. It is saved on my PS4 hard drive. It's not stored somewhere else, and I have to be online to play it. You know what I mean? And to that end, when I got my PS5 and I signed into my account, I just downloaded the game straight from that server right onto the hard drive, and that's it. Like, I can just unplug it from the internet altogether and still play it. So now the dependency is the internet connection, but it's also the server maintenance of who's ever housing the games. You know what I mean? If that shit goes down and they don't have anyone to fix it, which I find that hard to believe that they wouldn't, or they wouldn't have a backup or a redundancy set up.
They would have
it's Google, so
but I'm just saying that is something that you have to consider now, is that how reliable is what you're using, and can you always have access to it? Whereas even in digital downloads case, do I think customers care? I mean, to Nick's point...
The customers for Stadia, do you think they care?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. To Nick's point, I don't think that they honestly are, because, listen, if you really want to get into gaming, I think all of us can agree that there is 100 better avenues to take than getting Stadia. You know what I mean? And even now, like, I don't even know a single person, or I don't really see too many people online who regularly play Stadia, other than, I tried it out, or I got it for free with something. You know what I mean?
However, in Stadia's defense, one good redeeming quality we can give them, apparently Cyberpunk actually runs super well on Stadia.
Really?
It apparently runs about as good as the latest gen consoles. So it's got that. There's
and
something
that's on
there.
God, baby girl.
Dude, seriously, fuck Cyberpunk. All right, you know what? I'm fucking saying it this week. Here, I'm gonna give. You know what? Fuck you, CD Projekt Red. You fucking did this. You ruined my 2020 and some of my 2021. All right.
Blame them for COVID.
Well, I don't blame them for COVID.
No, I know.
I blame China for that.
I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think of like what would I ever get Stadia for? Like, and if I'm someone who's a gamer who, has a setup, I think the only thing I would ever get Stadia for is if I'm constantly traveling away from my rig and I don't have a separate dedicated laptop for gaming. Like, if I didn't want to spend another $2,000,
do you have a consistent internet connection though?
That's the problem though. If I'm someone who's like, I want to travel and I want to if I want to do streaming, with COVID, if I want to go live somewhere else for a month and it's like, oh, I want to keep up streaming or something like that. Like, I know Stadia connects to YouTube's gaming platform and live streaming well, but what about Twitch? What about Mixer? What about any of the other platforms? And I think that's what we have to wait and see.
If you're streaming to Twitch from Stadia, you got other problems. Moving on, though. The Gremlin series has announced their cast for Netflix. What's it called? Gremlins, Secrets of... I'm going to butcher this. Magua? Is that it? Magua? Okay.
And isn't it HBO Max, not Netflix?
It's HBO Max, yeah.
Oh, man, I fucked this all up. It
was already greenlit for a season 2.
Dude, I saw. How is that possible?
I don't know. It already got greenlit for season 2.
Yeah, it does have a built-in audience. Nick's right. So this comes exclusively from Variety, and it said here that it's set in the 1920s Shanghai. The series boasts a cast that includes Ming-Na Wen from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Mandalorian, and Mulan. BD Wong, crazy, the guy
Law and
from
Order,
Jurassic
Mr.
World.
Robot.
Is he in Mr. Robot? I don't watch that show.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
the
James Hung Like a
antagonist.
Horse Hong from Blade Runner and Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. They've all been tapped for... Oh, no, and then Matthew Rhys, I think his name is, has been tapped to be the voice of the half-hour show's villain. So there's 10 episodes coming up, and this seems to be our main cast. I'm with it. I like all of these shows. I like all of these actors,
Yeah.
And thankfully, I'll see BD Wong as something else besides, like, the scientist from Jurassic Park that just decided to go insane in the 4th movie.
How do you not know BD Wong from Law and Order, man?
Was he in Law and Order too?
Dude, he's the main, like, he's one of the psychologists. He's constantly brought in as, like, in Law and Order
shit,
SVU.
You're right. Dude,
He just always plays a scientist.
that's like my mom. That's like
his role.
that shitty thing that your parents do where they like hog the TV and then they just watch something they watch one show no matter how many repeats they've seen. That was that fucking
And now
show.
you love it?
No,
Like,
no.
You
You don't love
Star,
it, but you
Star Trek
can
Next
quote it
Gen.
like nobody's business.
Yeah, I've
It's-
actually
it's
known actors
painfully
who've been on
comforting.
that show. Like in my personal life, I've known people who've played dead bodies. They played witnesses. They played suspects.
That's where a lot of actors get their start, actually.
Yeah,
I was a body.
yeah. I was on Law and Order. I was the guy in the bushes and roller skates.
I was in the jury selection scene when the pedophile was on trial.
And this goes with Pat's dream, where Pat, if you really want to make it as an actor, his dream is to get murdered in a B-level horror film.
That's true.
So,
That's
you're
like
on
on
your
my
way.
goal. Like I really want to
Actually,
be.
your sights are set too high for what you could
That's true.
possibly be. Maybe you could be a dead body.
I want to be I want to be the prologue kill. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be the guy. "Ah!" And the title of the movie comes up, and then later on, 2 cops like find me twisted up like a pretzel or something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm looking for. That specificity, like butchered. Anyway, as we said before, Gremlins was my Christmas movie of choice. So I'm looking forward to this. I didn't know that it was animated, and that always kind of makes me go like, eh. But then I think like
Yeah.
Rick and Morty and now Solar Opposites, which if you guys haven't watched at all, oh my god. It is
on my list,
unreal.
yeah.
It's
Big
unreal.
recommend. Binged it in a day and a half.
Yeah, it's absolutely unreal. But yeah, I like this cast. I'm looking forward to it. So
Honestly, like I'm interested because this is one series where I'm not terribly afraid of them just reusing intellectual properties because they're doing it in a way it's like rather than just doing like some the traditional sitcom or something like that, kind of aping off the 80s nostalgia. They're going 1920s Shanghai. Like that's totally weird and different. Like I'm into that.
Yeah, you're getting like a cool throwback to like the Indiana Jones era of movies
Yeah.
where they like did a lot of like Asian inspired influence for like
Yeah,
some
I think this is going to be very cool.
a throwback to my favorite era, 1920s Shanghai. I celebrate it once a year. But all right,
You gotta
so
ask.
I'm just
Can't
gonna.
afford
So
it.
this next topic we're about to cover, I'm just gonna give the floor to Nick because really I have nothing to add, and I don't think anybody else is. But these next words are gonna enrage Nick. Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is still on.
Why? Why? There are no more words that I have other than why. I mean, like, to be fair, Rian Johnson, he's a talented filmmaker. I'm not going to take that away from him. He knows what he's doing. But he showed such reckless disregard for the Star Wars fans, the mythos around it. I cannot believe that they're still saying, go right ahead. He's going to do, it's going to be all
Someone
new
called
stories,
him-
all new characters, but it's like, you dropped the ball.
Someone called him a round-headed fuck online, and I laughed really hard. I mean, listen, to your point, Nick. I think Knives Out is great. I think
Yeah.
Looper is fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
But I think in a vacuum, Star Wars: The Last Jedi is a well-made film. All right,
It's a good movie.
you can't
Looks
take
great.
that. It looks great. Everything they set up in Act 1 pays off in Act 3, and like regardless of the fact of how you feel about Luke Skywalker in that movie, as far as conventional, like, well-written characters go for a 3-act structure, it works. But you take that away and you put that, you know, in the Star Wars canon, it's like, oh, this is fucking broken.
Well, that's the thing that I had. That's actually what I'm gonna devil's advocate here, and like,
Nice.
as in Nick shakes his head. Well, it's like, look, so J.J. Abrams had a lot of like conventional plans, you know,
Yes.
for Star Wars. It was, you
Yes.
know, his versions were Star Wars by the book, you know, and depending on how much that was like corporately pulled or whatever, it was like a revisionist, you know, extension of the original Star Wars is how I took it. But he's not an outline writer. Like he kind of like things unfold for his films and things like, and when you're working to do a trilogy, you need to take into consideration, am I just telling one, like, do I have a story that's huge and I need to break it up and I want to do this big outline? Or am I stretching out a little story into 3 parts? And I think Johnson can do that because he's really, really like, you know, the way that he writes his films and the way that he directs them, I think is really cohesive in that way.
And
Well-
I think if you want a good Star Wars trilogy, which you're never going to top the original trilogy, and like Bert was saying, with the like he was saying that J.J. Abrams is very conventional, very traditional. If you want to revamp this franchise, you need someone who's going to be reckless and who is going to be balls to the wall and willing to take risks and willing to do something cool with a new trilogy. You need someone who's got balls to do whatever he wants with a Star Wars franchise.
Big balls. She's
You
got
need
big balls.
While I don't disagree with you guys, I just want to backtrack a little bit. I also feel the same way about J.J. Abrams. Like when he was announced, I was very excited, but I felt like he also dropped the ball. Maybe not so much in the first installment, but definitely in the third installment.
Well, he had nothing to work with either in that third
but,
movie.
But that was a terrible excuse for a conclusion to a story. I don't care how much of a corner Rian Johnson put him in. Anyway, that's besides the point. Rian Johnson, like, for me, it's about like taking care of this thing that so many people cherish, you know. So while yes, you should be taking chances and doing new things, he didn't really care about the mythos. He trampled all over it, like what the whole meaning of the Skywalker saga was. I felt like a lot of the visuals didn't feel Star Wars. You know, like some of the visual effects, there wasn't enough practical effects, and it relied too much on CGI. So I'm done with Rian Johnson. For me, I would want somebody like a Taika Waititi, who's more like a craftsman.
Didn't they say he's doing one?
He's doing one, and
Yeah.
I'm glad he like so.
Yeah.
And he worked on Mandalorian. He directed a couple episodes. So if anything, I would be willing to give Rian Johnson more slack if he's working with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Those people are good ambassadors to the Star Wars mythos. So
Going back to the Last Jedi, though, you bring up a good point about how he tramples all over the mythos, because the Star Wars is supposed to be about good versus evil, and good always triumphing over evil. And when he did the Canto Bight scene, not only was it like, hey, no one gives a fuck about this in a Star Wars, he tried to paint the rebellion in this gray area that they too bought their weapons from, like, the rich and powerful. You know what I mean? Or the resistance, rather, whatever they fucking call them. But it's just like, no, you don't do that in a Star Wars movie. The resistance and rebellion, whatever you want to call it, is supposed to be that good. And
yeah, but like how consistent do you want to make it? Do you want to remake the same movie 20 times?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
No,
But
you need
here's
something
what I will
new.
say. You do need something new, but it's like you're the middle chapter in a trilogy, and you're totally disconnected. You know, it's like had J.J. Abrams set up like, oh, now we're going to take the story that you know and love and maybe put some doubt. But no, it's just like totally disconnected and makes it feel like that chapter it's not part of it. It doesn't feel like it's actually canon.
Right before we move on, I'll say this. If Rian Johnson's trilogy shits all over Star Wars, right? The new one that he's doing, but it takes place over here, that's fine. You have your bold new Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
if you want to continue the main saga, the Skywalker saga, right? You need to have your original recipe Star Wars in there because that's what people are going
yes.
for. That's what you
Yes.
need. Your main saga should be your original recipe. Your spin-offs, like look at Rogue One. You know what I mean? That was very different from what we're used to, and it worked well because it didn't fuck with the main canon. You know what I mean?
I get it, but
I
after
mean-
30 years, I think you need a bit of like I completely understand, and I know Star Wars is a hollowed untouchable thing to many people.
But maybe at the end of the day, they just shouldn't have continued the Skywalker saga in the new trilogy.
Exactly.
They
That's
just
fair.
shouldn't have done it. Don't
That's
touch
more
it.
the point.
But
George
I
Lucas
think
already shit on it in the prequels.
I think I agree with Pat though. It's like Star Wars, it has this big expansive universe that you can play in the sandbox, do whatever you want. But when you're talking about this original, saga, don't mess with it. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we get any more crazy.
My heart rate's up.
I got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I know. I know you do. So, up next, you guys, we have a trailer react we have to do.
Oh yeah.
Are you excited? Can you guys see? Can you guys see the screen that I'm sharing with you all?
Not yet. Not yet.
He's black.
Not yet.
He's black screen.
It's
He's
black.
so black.
Oh, okay, that's perfect because that's exactly what it.
Oh, okay.
This is beautiful.
For,
Screen is
There
black.
we go.
okay, all right. Can you guys should be able to hear it? I'm gonna unmute it. Don't worry. And then let me just fix what the fuck is going on in OBS right now because clearly when I shared my screen, Windows went crazy. So this is gonna make me angry if I don't fix this right now. So I apologize. I apologize to everyone who's watching this, all three of you.
A Red Band trailer.
Oh,
I think this is what video games should be doing more of. I don't know many other games that have done red bands, but this is
Actually,
a cool idea.
before we get started, Danny, do you remember when we went and saw Sausage Party?
Yeah.
Okay, it was like 11:30 at night. We're at the dine-in theater. The place is packed and it's silent. And we see this Red Band trailer come up and I just go, "Ooh, Red Band's gonna be naughty." Like that. And everyone laughs. The whole theater snickers and laughs because it's just a ridiculous concept. Like, just you're in
an
the
R-rated trailer.
yeah, you're in the movie theater for an R-rated movie. We already we know what we're here for. You know what I mean? All right. So, just to get started, can you guys hear this?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're
Learned
going
about
for
this
it.
7 years ago, on a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities.
So fucking tight.
It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Ah, they're going the chosen one path.
Called
Okay.
tours all over the world. Reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known.
That guy always plays a samurai.
Oh yeah.
It's Mortal Kombat.
It looks so brutal.
I'm Sonya. That's Kano.
I'm Liu Kang.
Name's Jax.
Kung Lao. Lord Raiden. The fate of Earth is in our hands.
No matter how many of my people you put in the ground, we will not fail. Kill them.
I am Sub-Zero.
Oh, that's so
Ah, get ready for it.
Get over here!
Fuck yeah.
Jedi wins. You fucking beauty.
That's sick.
Okay.
That looks pretty fucking cool.
All right.
I think the only way you could do a trailer for that movie was Red Band.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think
and-
there is
yeah.
a G-rated trailer.
And the
No,
other thing is like that tells me exactly what this movie is and should be. It's a Mortal Kombat movie. It should be over the top, brutal, insane amounts of action. I don't know what the actual narrative is because it seems like they actually reference the Mortal Kombat, like the actual Mortal Kombat tournament. But on top of that, they have said that Sub-Zero is the main villain of the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how that
So
it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
My initial like reaction to it is it's got like a Fast and Furious kind of vibe where it's like, you know, a bunch of the characters come from a different area, but then also just like a gratuitous kind of like samurai plus like Hunger Games kind of like real dark dirty thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, so when I watched, I the only reason we brought that trailer up on the show is because I watched it and I was like, oh shit, we got to react to this because this is fucking unreal. Like this trailer is actually amazing. When I was watching it originally, I was like, all right, so if they have Sub-Zero and Scorpion fighting, they have to have Scorpion say, get over here at the end of the trailer or no one's going to watch this fucking movie. And as I said that, it cuts to get over here. I was like, oh, they fucking did it. They did it.
I mean, here's the thing. Pat and I talked about this earlier. I've never played a Mortal Kombat game. I don't think I've ever. I only know like a couple things about it. I only know a few characters, one of which is Sub-Zero. And after watching this trailer, I'm 100% in. Like I am fully in. That looks sick.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
So interesting. I'm not a big Mortal Kombat guy. I've played a couple games here and there. I just downloaded MK11 though after seeing that trailer because I was like, well, fuck, I got to play this game then. So I used to think Sub-Zero and Scorpion were brothers, but really that was a rumor that got started because in the original source code when they made the game, they just took the same character models, changed the move sets, and then just changed the colors of them. So that's why that rumor got started online. But the actual lore now is that Scorpion, the first Mortal Kombat tournament in the lore of the games, right, is that Scorpion killed the original Sub-Zero. So then the next year they went back to Mortal Kombat for the next tournament. Sub-Zero was there again. And he found out that the new Sub-Zero was the younger brother of the old one seeking vengeance on Scorpion. And because of some ninja code, Scorpion can't ever he vows not to kill Sub-Zero, only protect him. Because he's the younger sibling of the one he killed. I don't understand that. I don't know. I don't think that's going to play into this film, if not a sequel, if they're going to do that.
I hope not.
That seems complicated.
Yeah, it seems really complicated,
that
obviously.
seems boring.
But I think for the lore of the games, though, that's a cool avenue to take. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of cool that they build up this whole, like, I guess you could say, like, relationship between them and everything. But I'm really looking forward to see, like Sub-Zero fucking froze Scorpion's blood and used it as a
made
dagger.
It a knife? Yeah.
That's
That's
sick.
the point where I put my hands above my head and I was like, yo!
Yeah.
That throws him into a bunch of ice picks. That is awesome.
Jax normally has 2 mechanical arms, and obviously they've had different interpretations of how that happens throughout the years. In this,
We now have an origin story.
right, now there's a definitive origin story for the film canon is that Sub-Zero not only broke both his arms, he froze them and shattered them to millions of little pieces.
See, now I'm interested to see Cruella, to see if Mortal Kombat was able to tell a better origin story in the first 20 seconds of a trailer than they could in a movie.
That's a good point. But yeah, no, that looks fucking awesome. It looks super brutal, and I can't wait to fucking watch that movie. And it comes out once again, first trailer for a movie. It's February. That came out on the 18th, I believe, or the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
That movie comes out April 16th.
Wow.
So these
And it goes right to HBO
right
Max,
to HBO Max.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right. I'll be watching it.
Do you think that like everything that's going on, you know, with theaters and stuff is going to shrink down the amount of time that movies need promo? Now that's being delivered right to your home, Is that going to be a thing where it's just like, here's the trailer, watch it next weekend?
I mean, I feel like there's a lot that could go into that.
There's a lot of that going around right now.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're trying it.
One theory that I actually may even have is that it's possible that a lot of promotional and marketing budgets have been cut because there isn't money coming in from theaters. So a lot of times when you're putting out a movie like that, or you're putting out a show, it goes with any other network, you have a lot of marketing budgets that you're putting forth to making sure that everyone is knowing that this is coming out. All right, we have this movie coming out in May. Let's announce it in September, and let's just keep the buzz going. Let's just keep it going. And so you put a lot of money behind that. Do I have any proof that that is what is happening? No. That is one theory that I have why they're announcing movies so much closer to their actual launch date.
Right. And I think the other thing is like the times that we live in. You know, we don't know if
There's
we're going to
so
be
much.
We don't it's just so much. It's not even so much that there's so much content, but it's just we don't know if we're going to be able to go to the fucking movies ever again. You know what I mean? Or even at least safely would be a way to put it, you know? And after a certain amount of time, without the big crowds that those theaters used to draw, are we ever gonna have movie theaters? You know what I mean? I've heard some word online that that Netflix might be purchasing AMC, which would be sick. And then I also heard that Disney might actually be opening up theaters of their own. Which
we need to stop Disney with their monopoly. Let's not do that.
Can't wait for the Disney grocery stores, the healthcare centers.
Yeah,
Disney,
I know. When Disney and Amazon collaborate, the world will end.
Apple tried to buy Disney.
The train is not going to stop.
Apple tried to buy Disney in like 2017. They were like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here." But overall, Mortal Kombat looks fucking sick. I can't wait to see that. That's some horn shit right there, as far as I'm concerned.
I will say, I would never have spent any time watching that movie unless you showed me the trailer. Now I'm like, I might watch that.
Yeah, I'm just.
You know what? I also don't know if I would have gone and saw that in theaters, but I would definitely see that from my home.
Oh, that's a good point too. I mean, the other thing is that I definitely wouldn't. That trailer just showed me what to expect. It's going to be a good action movie. At the very least, it's going to be a great action movie.
I am not expecting good acting. I'm not expecting much in the way of story. But I'm expecting some really sick fights and a lot of blood.
Yep. And that brings us to our next topic. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, as you can see from the thumbnail, you know, all three of you out there, we have been playing a lot of Rust recently, and it has been absolutely unreal, to the point where there's an economy on our island now. There's also communities. We are on the verge of civil war with the northern part of the island. Oh man, you missed a lot last night.
Nick, a lot went down.
The whole political climate of the island shifted overnight.
I'm looking forward to hearing about this.
So, just to get started, I mean, this game obviously it's been around for a couple years, and this, like I've said before, Rust actually caused a schism, the great schism of 2017 in my friend group that I played games with a while ago, because they actually had a disagreement over resources, so they stopped playing Rust altogether, and this was back when the game was in beta. So now that it's in full release, people are getting their hands on it. It got into the hands of the Twitch streamers. And once that happens, once your favorite streamer starts playing it, it just blows up. At one point, it had over 1 million viewers on Twitch. It's had, I think, like at its peak, it had over 1 million players on at one time. I didn't check the Steam charts on that. However, and I can see why. It's been so much fun. I don't think there's been a moment I've played in Rust that I wasn't having a good time, whether it be the community I'm playing with, whether it be the other players or interactions I run into, the raids that we've been doing. It's the
vibe zone.
The vibe zone.
We'll get there.
And I mean, overall, it's been amazing. And so the only one here who hasn't played it on this panel would be Danny.
Casual Dan.
But however, he has prepared some questions for us tonight that only a true casual player will have. So,
is there a stock market like in GTA?
no. No, sorry to
Okay.
disappoint.
Okay.
However,
Okay. You mentioned there is an economy, though. How does the economy work?
So, I mean, there's no money. You know, you don't get like dollars, and there's no way for you to actually like.
it's a
sell
barter
things
system,
to-
pretty much.
It's all barter. You got to go out and like the main way to craft things and like to upgrade different things is you get scrap, and you get that from like destroying resources or getting resources out in the wild.
Can you steal resources?
You can kill and steal as much as you want. There is
Nice.
no like it is when I say it's the Wild West, where you start naked with a rock and you come up against somebody who has a car and a machine gun. It is civilization.
Just
Game
like in the Old
Civil-
West.
Yeah,
Here.
it's Civ 5 condensed into an island.
Let me tell
At
you
the
though.
same time.
Let me tell you though, just the way the game works. There are different servers of different wipe zones and like different difficulties. Right now, we're on what's called a softcore server, which
'Cause we're
why would they ever choose that name is beyond me. However,
That's hot.
oh, it's real hot. However, where we chose to settle, right, there has been other houses that also have built around us, and now we formed this community. The guy that built a house 2 houses away from us eventually built it into a hotel. He calls it the Bradley Hotel. Everyone in there is from the hotel gang. We put Toods on our house, so we're the Toods gang. And they know us, we know them. Like, we're cool with each other.
You coexist.
We coexist. You know, we were all attacked one day. We got together. We were like, fuck those guys. We went and got those. But the best story has to come with the loyalty of just being someone's neighbor. Because Burke can attest to this. The other night, we were on this, like, the hotel gang has become the absolutely #1 like stop on the island. Like, people will come from other corners of the island to come to the hotel and like see it in all its glory, right? So the other night, we're playing, and this guy shows up who nobody's ever seen before. And so I go outside and I stick my gun
Wait, do
in
you
his
actually
face.
recognize people
Yes.
when you see them?
Yes.
How many
Yes.
So
people are on the
the
server?
thing. You only recognize people if you see them by their name. Like, everybody else generally looks the same. You can change clothes, you can change what you're wearing a little
But
bit.
like their name
but
is like up here.
You
But
don't
dude,
get, you don't
but
get
Burke,
to,
think
style
of, like,
and
Goat.
customize your avatar.
Think of like Goat,
Okay.
though. Goat has like all types of zany clothing, so you know who you're looking at when you see Goat, But either way, my point is that the other night, this guy shows up on our property. And so I go outside and I stick my gun in his face and I say, hey, what the hell are you doing here? Right? And he goes, I was just passing through. And I said to him, I was like, oh, are you part of the hotel gang? And he said, yes. So he fucking lied to me.
You let him,
Because
though.
we
You
have
gave him that
we
opportunity
have
to
a
lie.
peace treaty. We have a peace treaty, right? I turn my back and he fucking guns me down. And so we're talking shit to him in the chat, and he's like, well, I had to loot too, yada, 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 right? So I just put out a server-wide call, kill this man on sight. 12 members from the hotel gang went and hunted that man down, shot him, tortured him, then killed him, took all his, revived him, shot him, took all his stuff and brought it back to me. And we're like, we got you, McPoot. You're our boy.
Wow.
That's the
Straight
type
up
of loyalty
Guantanamo him.
that you're
One of my
getting.
questions was actually, have you ever been fooled into thinking that someone was going to be peaceful and then they ended up killing you?
Oh, all the time.
So does that happen a lot?
That's a all the time thing. When we first started playing,
So you guys are
Rust,
too
it was-
trusting.
we just the
Well,
now
I
we
mean,
know.
Burke
We're
tries to be
noobs.
friends with everyone, and at a certain
Well, that's the thing. Like, we have bows, and we've just gotten semi-automatics. Like, we are low on the totem pole in almost any sense of this game. We are going to be outgunned, and we are going to be murdered. So I'm trying a generally pacifistic approach with most things. It doesn't work. But there was one time where this guy, they have different places called monuments, which are just big landmarks in the game. This one guy's I swam up to one that was a lighthouse, and there's one guy's on the dock.
keep talking. If I don't go to the bathroom, I'm gonna pee my pants right now.
There's this one guy on the
Do
dock,
it.
and I.
Pee pan stream.
Oh, nice. donate $5 in super
All right.
chat right now.
Actually, if you
now
donate
that we've gone-
$5, Pat will pee his pants on screen.
But so I swim up to the lighthouse, and it takes me maybe like 5 minutes to swim out here because it's, you don't have a boat. You're just a naked dude running up there. So this guy is on the dock, and I'm like, hey, please don't kill me because you have voice in chat. It's like, please don't kill me. I've just gotten out here. I'm clearly naked. All I have is a rock. So he's like, sick, man. Okay, I'll show you. So we walk through the lighthouse. He shows me.
Sick. Love the nakedness, man.
Yeah, he's like, basically. He's like, the lighthouse. He's like, if you come over here, the landmarks have like loot crates that they have in them. So it's like you have to go raid a landmark for the loot crates, and you can get like weapons or scrap or supplies. So he's like, yeah, some usually spawn over here. He's like, you want to go this way? Watch out, people usually hang out up here. We get to like the top of the lighthouse, and he's like, here it is. Here's the view. And he's like, do you know why I brought you up here? And I was like, oh my God, like, why? And he's like, get on your knees. And I was like, okay. So he's a naked man, and he's telling me to get on my knees.
Oh, that's true. I have.
So he was naked too?
Yeah, I mean, you get clothes, but like most of these people just kind of like fuck around. So he's like, get on your knees, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm about to be sexually assaulted in Rust.
I have clips of me servicing people for metal fragments. Like, I will mime a blowjob in Rust. Yeah. And
There's
some
your
guy
economy right
will
there.
throw
Exactly.
metal fragments at me.
There's no money. There's only sexual favors.
So I'm like,
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
I'm like, oh, okay. And I get on my knees because I mean, like, I have a rock, and the guy pulls out a gun, and he's like, welcome to Rust. I'll bathe you in blood, and then just shoots me in the head. Like,
God damn. One of my questions was, what is the coldest thing someone has said to you before you died?
Oh, we've seen some fucked up shit.
Oh my God. What's some cold shit you said to someone before you killed them?
the best is though when people like come at you. It's the funniest thing. People come at you and they'll try to kill you, and then you down them. So it's kind of like COD, where like if you get down but someone comes and revives you, you're good. They'll down them and they'll be like, no, chill, please don't kill me, And it's like, you just were fucking trying to kill me. They flip their script quick.
All right, so what is this vibe zone that I'm hearing a lot about?
Okay, well, this is for me, it's like I don't play a lot of games for the combat at all. I play a lot of games for I like building stuff and designing.
You're all about the vibe.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I'm about
Nick's
the vibe.
thing. We're afraid to put him on a Minecraft server in creative mode because we'll lose him for 12 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I've been really struggling with Rust. So we decided we're gonna go on an adventure. Let's go do this thing that's not in our immediate vicinity. So we're traveling over this fields and hills and going through mountains. We come on to this pavilion, this beautifully constructed outdoor it's just a roof with pillars. It's like open air structure, and it's got public seating and a stage and a piano and all these instruments, and we're like, what have we just stumbled upon? So we're checking it out, and you can play the instruments and stuff, and there's chests full of guitars, and we're playing around with all these doodads and toys. We go around back. There's a health a health checkpoint center with a fridge full of food and resources. We're trying to figure out what did we stumble upon, and it's got this big painting called the Vibe Zone on the wall. Days later, we go back, and the guy who runs the place, the caretaker, is there. Guy named Zahn.
Zan. I think it's like Zan, like Xanax, Nick.
I remember he said Zahn. It was spelled Zan, but his name was Zahn. So he's like, here, let me show you. And it started out, it looked like this, and he pointed at a picture on the wall of the Vibe Zone.
He had a picture
he
in the. No, he had a fucking Polaroid.
That? And he pulled out a Polaroid camera and took a picture of Pat.
And then
He's like,
gave
"Oh, I
it
got
to
this
me.
camera."
I have a picture of my character in Rust. Like
So,
Right. So did he give you the picture or the Polaroid?
the Polaroid.
So, he's showing us, he's telling, Pat's like, well, don't people come and fuck with you? He's like, well, that happens. That's Rust. But I mean, for the most part, I only keep what I need here to keep it put together. And, you can come and get resources for free. I have it in the fridge. You could grab some wood and stone in the chest.
And he was also like, I have a donation box set up for anyone who'd like to donate.
And keep in mind, at this point, we're what? Maybe like 20, 30 hours into Rust, all extremely jaded. Like, we're like, shoot anybody on sight. Like, all people in Rust are horrible. This is the most toxic
And you come
community.
across this gentle man who's here just to create a vibe zone, just to give some light in this darkness.
The best thing that he said to us, the best thing, he goes, you really want to see some beauty? Here's what I tell you. You see up there on that hill? That's my house. I've got a lawn chair set up there. If it starts raining and there's a lightning storm, you go up there, you sit in that lawn chair, and man, that's beautiful.
He goes, just sit back. He goes,
hippie guy I've ever seen.
He goes, you just sit back and enjoy the show. And I was I remember going, bro, like, you just do this on every server you go on? He goes, well, this is the first time I've ever really done it. I was like, what? You planned all this out.
This is a man who has played so many Rust trailers. He was the #1 killer on his last team. He was the #1 killer. He killed so many innocent people until he had an epiphany one day and was like, no.
He's like John Wick in the beginning of the first movie where he's like, just inner peace.
I left that
That's
life.
yeah, exactly. However, we left out the part that after all this happens, he sits down at the piano and starts to woo us. Like, really starts to play piano.
So the way that you play instruments in Rust is you can assign like different notes to different hotkeys.
There's also
like,
an app you can download that just runs
so that,
the
we
script.
didn't know that. So like, I mean, otherwise you would have to like simultaneously essentially play a piano with your, with your keyboard.
Wow.
And this dude just starts shredding on a piano. He's like playing classical music, and we're literally all there jaw dropped.
And he's talking to us like explaining the whole thing.
And then he was like, oh, there's like a program that just like MIDI, it like puts goes off of MIDI files and then it does it in there. But we didn't know that. We thought this guy is just like a savant.
Hotkeying like the shit out of this piano.
And that being said, though, he what was I gonna say? He was not up on like any of the jokes that we were dropping in front of him. Like, he was just so Burke, you know what I'm talking about. I'd be like, you picking up what I'm putting down, bro? And he'd be like, what? Like,
what did you drop something?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Like,
so this guy just decided to come in here, just shed a little sunshine in the world.
Oh, people know him. People know him on the server.
Okay. So he does. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought that story was going to end, and then we turned our backs, and he shot us in the head. I just figured that's how all Rust stories end.
I wouldn't have it expected to go any other way. It was more of like, we have not been killed yet.
Okay.
Oh, and there was like an attack helicopter. He's like, quick, put your gun away and take all your clothes off. They won't come attack us if you're naked.
And I was
this man is a survivor.
Yeah.
He is a survivor.
I mean, when he told us that, I was like, should we really do that?
This man knows how to adapt.
And he goes, yeah, man, they won't shoot at anyone who's a newbie.
Oh my God. This man is a Rust veteran who is looking for penance for his crimes and is just opening up this little vibe museum and asking for donations.
That's
It's
true.
just like,
next time we see him, we have to grill him on what he did.
Yeah, you got to find out about his past. He's done some shit.
You got some deep, dark skeletons, don't you, man?
Oh, yeah. He did way worse than tell someone to get on his knees and then bathe them in blood.
That was casual. You expect that to happen. Man,
my only other question was, what was some of the coldest shit that you've said to somebody?
There was that guy that we found sleeping, and I put an arrow in his head, and then we took
after
all
I had
his...
already put an arrow in his head.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was dead, and then, like, this is right after we went to the vibe zone. I was feeling like pretty positive, and I just saw this guy sleeping on the ground. I was like, let me put some resources in his bag. And then Mike and Pat were like, what are you doing? That's a dead body.
And then Nick's like, how do you know he's dead? And I was like, well, I shot him in the head. And then Pat was like, well, I shot him in the head too. 80 seconds after we left the chill zone.
There was Nick and I were coming back from a mission the other night, and some guy just kept he kept coming at me with his rock and getting close, and I kept telling him, bro, don't get close to me. Don't get close. And he was like, I'm a new player. I don't know what to do. Which we've heard that line before. And then they just whip out something and they murder us. And so finally I was like, don't get close. Don't. And I capped him in the legs, and he just goes, he's on the floor dying. He said, why would you do that? I was like, I told you not to get close, and just ended his life.
You did not listen.
Yeah.
I think after Nick had a religious experience talking with the guy over at the Vibe Zone, I think Nick is now going to be like Jules Winfield at the end of Pulp Fiction, just going to walk the earth, just going to roam, get into adventures and shit. I think that's the way to go about playing that game. From the little bit I've seen of it, is just roam around, try and get shelter with random people. I'm just here to walk the earth.
Well, that's what I'm interested in about the hotel gang. Is like, do they actually? Is it open to other people to stay there?
Yes, yeah. So the way the hotel gang works is they have it so down to a science now. All you have to do is go there, go to the vending machine, purchase a fucking room code that he has set up. Go to your room, put the code in for the door, and just make sure you're paying your donations. Like,
there's locks and codes on doors.
Oh yeah.
So when I say, like, you play the full gamut of, you wake up naked with a stone, and you do like the whole Minecraft thing of go beat a tree, go beat a rock. Like, you get sources that way. People can make helicopters. People can make diving equipment. You can make a rocket launcher. Like, so this is the class disparity of Rust.
So there's a 1% in Rust.
Yeah.
For sure. Dude, our boy Goat, who runs the hotel gang, he is the 1%. People pay him in resources, and he offers the hotel has sentry guns. Has sentry guns all around it. So if anyone the other night, this guy called Rusty, funny enough, he showed up and he murdered a whole bunch of people in our community. While he was getting away, though, the sentry guns took him out, and we were able to get all of our shit back because the sentry guns will target people who are not in your group.
So you can tell the sentry guns essentially, these people are cool. Don't kill them.
I don't think it's that close. It's more or less like the people who inhabit this area, like who are frequently here, like if a weapon is discharged against them around the premises, then the sentry gun goes against the person that discharged the weapon. So the other night, somebody was just shooting a nail gun close to the hotel, and the sentry gun just targeted them and fucking dun, 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 and just murdered them immediately.
I've died like 2 or 3 times doing that exact thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they put windmills up on the top since for electricity. They have a whole light rig up there, and even then, we had this one issue where this one guy showed up and he killed Burke, and it was in the middle of the night. So me and this other dude chase after him, and I murdered the guy. And when I go to get Burke's stuff, this other guy looted him, and I was like, yo, what are you doing? And I know that if I kill this dude, I immediately piss off the rest of the hotel gang, right? Mm-hmm. But he was nice enough to be like, oh, is this your boy's stuff? I was like, yeah, that's all of my friend's stuff. He's like, oh, my bad, no problem, McPoo, and just gave me all of his stuff. And he goes, can I keep the homemade shells? I was like, you mean the ammo for his gun? So finally, I was like, I'll trade you. He gave me the homemade shells, and I gave him potatoes, and it was a fair trade.
Yeah, it was that sounds like a fair trade.
Yeah.
So you had to trade him. I mean, that guy knew what he was doing. That's some shady shit that he was doing.
Oh,
he
yeah.
knew that he was taking your boy's stuff.
It's kill or be killed, and literally in every sense of the game. This is the second server we were playing on. We were playing on one other server before, and I think this is worth mentioning if we haven't yet. Servers reset completely. So it's not like where you have a Minecraft server or a creative world where you can play it indefinitely. Some are weekly, some are bi-weekly, as in every other week, and then some are monthly. We originally were playing on a weekly server where every Tuesday night, 100% would reset. Any progress you made, any skill trees that you've unlocked, you're back to the beach with a rock.
Yeah, and fuck that. So we moved over, and we moved over to a softcore server, which there is still PvP, and you're still allowed to murder each other, but it's specifically meant for newer players to get their bearing. However, that one guy, Chad, who lives up on the rock next to us,
Chad.
I forget who lived with him. He doesn't live with him anymore because he was an asshole. But his old roommate, pretty much,
He kicked him out.
His old roommate came to our house and was like, "Is this your guys' house?" We were like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I gotta be honest, it's a pretty shitty house, right?" And we were like, "Oh, okay, that's we're only 40 hours in." He goes, "No, my house sucks too. I'm a new player." He goes, "I think I only have like 300 hours." And we were like,
No,
"What the?"
he said more than that.
Oh,
he said, like,
but I think he said 300 or more. I know he said 300 though. But either way, the point is though, as soon as he turns around, not one, not two, 3 fucking bears come out of the woods and attacked him all at once. And he's screaming, "Guys, there's fucking bears!" And like you hear gunshots going off, and you hear him like you hear the pad of the and the bears like murdering him. And all of a sudden, I'm standing on top of our house yelling at him. "Yeah, I guess our house isn't such a big piece of shit now, is it?" And I'm just watching through my sniper scope, watching these bears just chew on his body afterwards.
Pat's like relaying this whole thing because I'm inside and I'm like trying not to go outside and get killed by bears myself, and he's just like, "This is so fucking sweet."
I'm sitting there up there, like just telling Burke, like, "Oh shit, the bears are murdering him now."
This is happening.
Now, I hear that it may come to PS4. That may happen. Now, let's say it does. Is it even worth getting on a PlayStation console? Is this something that should only be played on PC?
You have to play it with other people. Like,
you can't play it by yourself. Yeah.
I mean, even if you could, like, I don't even know. I don't think there's a single player option for it.
No, not at all.
Even solo.
There are servers that are like solo, duo, trio, so you're never going to be at like a crazy disadvantage to huge groups. But
that just means that
you're going to want to
like,
play. Yeah.
As in, what I'm saying is you can play by yourself as you're a one-man team, but you were playing live against other people on a server.
Yeah,
it's not like you cannot play that. You can't play this without an internet connection.
No, yeah. What I'm saying is I think like there were talks that it is going to be coming to like Xbox and PlayStation 4. Let's say if there's cross-platform compatibility, I can then play with you guys. Is it something that's even worth getting on console?
I would probably say so. I mean, there's a lot of crafting that goes into it, like, and a lot of like, inventory allocation and everything. As much as you can play, and I keep going back to Minecraft just because it's like a super, easy analogy. Like, as much as you can do inventory management and block management with Minecraft on a console, you can do so with Rust.
All right, well, here's my answer to that.
There's a lot of hotkeys and a lot of like other things where having an actual keyboard makes it really efficient to play.
Yeah, just get a fucking PC, dude. Just commit and join us in Conquest.
God. Just get it.
And join us in Conquest.
Easy. It's just so easy. It'll only cost you $1,500. Just get a PC.
Oh.
Also, if you want to talk about bringing the toxic community of Rust into the toxic community of Xbox Live.
You're asking for. Let me tell you something. There have been a lot of communities that have cleaned up their act, like in the past 12 years since the old Xbox Live days, where everybody fucked my mom, so to speak. But
so many people fucked Pat's mom.
So many people told me they fucked my mom.
Allegedly.
So that being said, though, holy shit. The chat in Rust is some of the worst things I've read in my life. Now, listen, they are objectively hilarious. We all have a good time, but this is not something that you would just whip out in public or at a bar or anywhere. Like, this is only something that you can type in a video game chat and people are going to have a good time. I won't go into detail, but all you need to do is spend 5 minutes on a Rust server and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you see that someone who is named Minecraft Steve in the chat is using a lot of colorful language for certain people, you start to question. What kind of game am I playing?
It's clearly not being monitored.
No. This is the unmonitored section of chat roulette, folks.
So when I get a PC, that will probably be one of the first games that I download because that sounds fun as fuck.
Yeah, no, it really is sick. Like I didn't think I was gonna have a lot of fun with it, but I ended up having a really good time with it, and I just hope that the same thing that happens for that game that we hope happens with all the games that we love. More content, more mechanics, fix the bugs. That's the other thing. I haven't experienced a lot of bugs, and I think that's something really to be appreciative of when things like Cyberpunk exist. So, hey, listen, Nick, you got Ryan Johnson in Star Wars. I got Cyberpunk. Okay.
That's fair. You're right.
So, that being said, let's move on to clip of the week there, gents?
Oh, yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
All right. Here we go. Oh my God. Every single time I change windows, it's a mess tonight on here.
Who picked this clip? This is Nick?
This is my pick, and I tried to go more in a Joe direction than my typical video, so I think you guys will like this.
You have to go to the darkest corners of your mind.
And the web.
And the web.
At least I'm safe inside my mind. Okay, let me just pull this up real quick. All right, you guys are good?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
It's raining. Whoa. It's pouring. Yes, Lord. Ha! I gotta get some of the rain. Drug sale right there. Drug sale. What the hell? No way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, what the hell? My boy, yeah, you good?
He's pulling out his flowers.
Those are weeds. I don't think that's flowers.
Oh, is that a weed?
I think it's just overgrown.
Well, first things first, gentlemen. He has a beautiful voice. Okay.
Incredible.
Rated
Beautiful.
improv.
I like this guy's the shirt he's rocking, the Ninja Turtles
Ninja
shirt.
Turtles? I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice that either.
The Michael
His
Bay,
fly is open too.
Michael Bay Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles shirt.
Hold on, look at the still you got there, Pat. It looks like his eyes are bugging.
Well, that's because they are. That would be because they are in fact bugging.
You good,
I
bro?
love this right here.
Drug sale.
Drug sale right there. Look at
Drug sale.
This
drug
man
sale.
just sings about what he sees. Like he's in the shower. He was like, I got detergent.
what the hell?
Drug sale. What
You know,
the
he
hell?
keeps this guy who's just clearly like nodding off in a bush as like that's his marketing.
Nodding
He's
off.
like, you want to turn
Nodding
into that?
off. Burke, he's
Nodding off is a
overdosing.
very soft way of saying passing out and almost ODing.
Yeah.
I'm being polite. But he's like, I keep this guy around to show you that good shit.
Oh my God!
There's
What
a
a
drug sale right there.
what the
You
hell?
want to disassociate
And
in
then
a Ninja Turtles t-shirt.
I love how he keeps the camera on him and he's singing about what's going. This man's clearly struggling to stand, and I love that. Like,
No way.
God, he ain't even standing.
He's struggling to keep himself up.
I want to know what's going through his head as the guy is singing at him. Like, what is going through this guy's
he's
brain?
probably
Nothing.
thinking the same
There's
thing.
nothing
What
going
the
on.
hell?
Just a Silent Hill theme song.
Oh man!
This man is on another
And
planet.
then I
right
love
now.
the tag at the end.
Boy, yeah, you good?
Yeah, you good? Nah,
You
bro.
know he's not good.
He's
Yeah,
not.
he
He is
moment of
not
sentiment.
He
good.
is obviously not good.
You gotta call 911 right now.
You need to let him know what is
Yeah.
happening. Oh man, this is good. This was a good one. I like how it starts innocently enough. You know, like I didn't think this was.
Just an alleyway.
Raining. Whoa.
Ooh, you know, and the confidence in his voice too. You know, that's important to be a good vocalist.
He's about to start his day. He's so he's like, I'm on top of the world, about to hit the day.
Drug sale. What the hell?
Drug sale. What the hell?
Oh my god.
Oh
Nick,
my
where did
God.
you find this video?
Oh,
Why-
shit,
I'm
that's
not
good.
gonna give away my sources.
Fair point.
What's funny is I believe I've seen this video like a couple of years ago, but I couldn't remember what happened at the end. I know it was like something happens at the end here, and I was just like, oh right, tweaking.
Yeah, no, he is definitely tweaking for sure.
He's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
He's having a rough
like
night.
he managed to keep himself like in that position for a little bit until finally gravity just takes over.
Finally, gravity wins the battle.
That kind of looks like the video of the Mars landing too. It's just like slowly getting closer to the ground.
I haven't seen the video actually. I should probably watch that.
It's an animation. It's not like a video, but it's like an accurate
anime.
It's manga
It's
nice.
of what happened.
You read it backwards.
Oh, my bad. All right. Well, with that being said, first of all, thanks, Mike Burke, for coming on, special guest tonight. We know that this podcast can be quite volatile, so we appreciate
Put
you
your life at risk.
for putting it all out on the line for us. And that being said, the audio version of this show is available on all major podcast apps. And if you like anything you see here, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell, share with your friends, to let them know that this is what you subject yourself to once a week. And we appreciate that. So once again, thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.